Hey Horizon fam.
Hey, License here, and we just want to speak directly to our graduates at Horizon Church. We always love supporting you, giving you gifts and cheering you on as you reach your accomplishments here in June. But this year it's a little bit different with COVID happening. But we just want to honor anyone who's graduated from high school, university, community college, diploma, whatever it is. We just want you to know how proud we are that you reached this milestone.
And like Katie said, it's a little bit different this year, but we still want to be able to celebrate you coming up on a Sunday. And so if you graduated from high school, university, college, anything like that, we want to celebrate you. And so how you can do that to let us know is you can email daniel@horizonchurch.ca to let us know whether you or maybe one of your someone in your family has graduated, and we'll give you more details of what that'll look like. But we got a little gift for you, and we'd love to celebrate you. Isn't that right, Zoe? Yeah?
We're so proud of all the hard work that you guys have put into this. And so email us, and we want to cheer you on and congratulate you for a job well done.
Love you guys so much. See you soon.
Hey guys, what is going on? Today we're doing Horizon Youth, which starts in 2 minutes. We're doing some trivia, announcements, some preaching today. So if you're new here, just like type I'm new in the chat, because that's a pretty cool thing, because we're pumped to have you here if you're new. But if you're not new, we still love you, don't worry. But anyways, now's a good time to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe. I mean, not comment because you can't comment, but like, say so in the chat. Say something in the chat. Like, chat, and subscribe. Because if I don't get enough likes, I'm probably gonna get fired from my job, which is this, and I don't get paid. So I don't really care. But yeah, okay, so other than that, I have like a single question for you guys. What is your favorite part about quarantine? Some of you hate it, some of you love it, but I love it. So that's my question. I'll see you all later. Bye.
We are live!
Hey, YouTubers. Oh, it did open up. I don't even.
I'm Monica.
I'm Caleb, and Daniel said I wouldn't do this, and I don't like these.
Yeah.
Nope.
Barf. Ew, it's on your arm.
Yeah. Well,
Anyways, I'm Monica.
I'm Caleb.
We are so excited to see you guys tonight. We are on week number
12.
12 of
12.
online services. As much as I love doing online services, I can't wait to see you guys in person again.
That was Daniel. Okay, cool. So that's why Daniel's supposed to be quiet during this.
What can they expect tonight?
Well, we're gonna do some trivia, which we're gonna do
It's a
some.
little bit different tonight, though.
Oh yeah, true. It's not. Well, it is trivia, but we're gonna do
It's
some
giveaways,
riddles.
yeah.
We're gonna do some riddles.
Riddle me this. I don't have a riddle.
Yeah, that's where you like do the riddle. But we're gonna do. We got a couple practice ones. We got a couple for money, and what's after trivia?
After trivia, we have the challenge where this week David will be taking on our new challenger, Jacob. I haven't looked at the polls recently, but last time they were only separated by one vote with Jacob in the lead. But I will say his own wife did not vote for him. So
I got Jacob on this one.
I got Jacob
I know
on
the
this one, too.
challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just a Jacob
I'm sorry,
challenge.
David, but this is gonna be Jacob.
So stay tuned for that. After the challenge, we have the message and who's speaking this week.
We got Carly this week.
So exciting.
It's gonna be awesome.
She's my co-small group leader, so we know it's going to be amazing because grade 8 girls small group is the best. And then
I
what's
think
after that?
grade 9 boys are the best.
My small group would probably say that too.
Yes, they will. All right, and then after that, we're gonna jump into our Zoom calls.
If you don't have the link to your Zoom group, you can email Daniel at horizonchurch.ca and you will get that link right away.
Or you can go on the Instagram and
DM our account.
Yep. I think that's it.
Could you hear that truck like we just heard that
The
truck?
truck. We got the doors open because it's really hot in here. We got no AC.
It's so warm. But
Let's do some riddles.
riddles.
I had a couple riddles and they said they were just dad jokes. So
Yeah.
I didn't come up with any of these.
Yeah, we just found these on the internet, so don't look on the internet.
Don't look on the internet.
But maybe you can. Anyways.
Okay.
First one, just for gold stars. There's no money
There's
involved
no money.
in this
You
one.
can get a gold star. Also, we gotta say this first.
Yeah.
You can only win one prize per week.
Yep.
It's in the white fine print on the white table.
Also, the white fine print listed right here is you have to be in your Zoom group after service
Yeah.
to claim your prize. You gotta give your email to your small group leader. But what else is the other small print?
I don't know what the other small.
Oh, the other small print is we are the
Oh.
official sponsored computer.
I forgot. See, it was in the small print, so I forgot.
Yeah, he
And I
couldn't
couldn't
see it.
read
He
it.
couldn't see.
I even have my glasses on today.
Yeah, that doesn't always help
So
him.
we have the official who commented first. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what your friend saw. Doesn't matter what your
phone
uncle
says.
What your uncle saw. Doesn't matter what Daniel says.
Yep.
We have the official.
Ours is the official sponsored feed.
I can send you a
What
picture.
we
This is what
say
we got.
goes.
So,
don't
here's
be,
our first
don't
gold
be
star.
arguing with
Let's
us.
give it away.
Gold star. I shave every day, but my beard stays the same. What am I?
What am I?
What am I? What am
Type
I?
it in. I had a really tough time with this one. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, no, his face was like trying to figure it out, but David.
Yep.
Daniel, they can hear you. A barber? Yes, Stacia!
Station, you got it.
Gold star for you.
You know, relevant things, COVID, you can go get your
Yeah, they're
haircut.
open up now. Support the local businesses, as they say.
But I'm not going to till COVID's over, then I'll get a haircut. And cut
But
my
what if
beard.
COVID doesn't end for like a year and a half?
Well, then I
Like
grow
what-
my hair out for a
who-
year and a
Who
half.
gives the official COVID's over?
When I cut my hair, that's the official COVID's over.
Okay,
So then
okay.
you'll know.
Okay.
Okay, number 2, second gold star. Stacia's got one. Who's getting the second one?
What has many teeth but can't bite?
See, this one I would argue it could bite.
I was just thinking that as I said
Like,
it, but
I'd argue this can bite, but it can't bite.
it can't. It doesn't.
It doesn't.
A comb, Isaac Navarro, gold star for you.
You ever been combing and then you get caught in a knot, and then that's pretty.
That hurts,
Yeah,
but it's not a
fun.
bite.
It's not that's a bite. So that was our second gold star.
So Caleb, what is our first? We're giving away $10 to skip the dishes. What's the first riddle?
The first riddle for money.
For money. Oh wait,
Whoa.
Elena.
Elena,
Leaders.
Placido.
No commenting the answers.
that's you, Elena.
Yeah, we left out Placido once, and he decided he was going to answer.
So
So
Elena
no
and Placido.
leaders.
Just a reminder, do not. Okay, the first one for money. What has 13 hearts and no other organs? I didn't get this one either. I'm really awful at these apparently. Who's going to get it? 13 hearts, no other organs.
Spider?
Not a spider.
What spider?
I don't know. A
Oh, like an
spider.
actual spider?
Cat has 14
Judah Franson says a pack
Judah
of cards.
Franston, that is $10
Yeah.
to skip the dishes for you. Gotta show up in your Zoom group and give your email to your small
And
group
we'll
leader.
send that to you.
And we'll send it to
This
you.
last one is like the hardest one though.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is really tough.
Yeah. So, what is a 4-letter word that can be written forward, backwards, upside down, and can still all be read from left to right? No, Daniel.
Again, don't listen to Daniel.
Oh, we should. Oh, never mind. We can't do that.
Not Ohio.
Oh my gosh.
If you flip that upside down, it doesn't
It's
still spell Ohio.
No.
Swims?
Nope. Noon, Isaac. You got a gold star and $10.
Wait, 1 sec. Placido, why are you answering? He said swim.
Yeah.
He said swim. But like, it's wrong. The answer is noon.
No.
The answer is noon though. No, it's a 4-letter word. No, it's a 4-letter word.
4.
So, either way, Isaac wins. So
Yeah.
be in your small group. And again, Placido, we will block you next time we do
Yes.
trivia.
Put you in the timeout corner sin bin for 3 minutes.
Okay, but now we got the challenge, so we're gonna go to a quick intermission.
Transition time. Welcome to the challenge where I forgot to check to see updated, but we've got Jacob and David heading off against each other this week.
I'm at 52%.
Okay, so Jacob's obviously been checking. 52%, that's pretty close, pretty tight. What we've got tonight is we've got Fruit by the Foot, and they are going to see who can eat all 3 packages first, but they don't get to use their hands. So they can open them up to start, and then
Hold them.
sure. You can open them all up at once, or you can open them up individually. Not yet, Jacob. We didn't say go.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, you're equal. Okay, ready? On your marks, get set, go.
Oh, jeez. So you spread all the way out.
Under pressure.
I got Jacob on that. Sorry, David. I love you, man. But...
Yeah, like that. You just gotta make sure it's straight, and then you can get rid of the paper.
Is that good?
Whoa, look at those first 2
Is that
bites
good?
were
Yeah,
huge.
rip the paper off,
Eat
we're
the
good.
whole yellow all at once. And it's first person to show me an empty mouth, and they're the winner.
After all 3.
Yes.
You can go right to the next one once this one's done.
Jacob is catching up to you
Yeah.
real fast.
Come on, Jacob.
Guys, it sounds so disgusting. Oh.
Go in. Yeah.
Jacob's on pack number 2.
That was Matrix.
Like that's
David's on
counts,
number 2.
you know?
Hey. You might get a okay, David's on.
Ew, guys, this is so nasty.
Oh, wow. David crushed them.
What the heck?
Jacob.
I wasn't looking, and all of a sudden he's gone. Come on, Jacob, you're letting everybody down. 52% of the world.
David's
No hands, no hands.
For the Eagles. What was that?
Is that game tonight? Oh, it's
Jab,
Dab.
jab,
He
jab.
just dabbed on you, man.
All right. Jacob.
Go, Jacob. Go,
I
Jacob.
think this is a.
It's gotta be finished. You gotta swallow it.
Yeah, it's all gotta be
Go,
gone.
go, go, Jacob.
So David's
Jacob,
on
he's
the
still chewing.
chewing.
Go, Jacob. Come on.
Come on!
Jacob.
Losing. Unless he's chewing, swallowing, and putting more in at the same time, he will not win this.
I don't know. Now swallow it whole. Come on.
You gotta come show the camera an empty mouth.
Yeah, camera. That's it.
but are we gonna zoom in properly?
There we go. Oh, no, David definitely won.
The eagle flies, and
Eagle
David
flies.
continues on to next week. Tune in next week to vote in your favorite leader.
Hey everyone, my name's Connor. For those of you who don't know me, I am one of the small group leaders for the grade 8 small group girls. All my grade 8 girls, give me, I don't know, a wave or something or a heart in the comments. Yep, so I'm one of the small group leaders for that group, and I'm talking to you guys today. We realized just during that game that actually there was audio going on, and we didn't need to put a second audio on there, so sorry about that. It was because we got our tech guy to do the challenge, so I guess that's on us. Shouldn't have done that.
Obviously won't happen next week.
Guess not, yeah, because tech guy's out. Well, today we are continuing our series that has been called What do you do when? What do you do when? So all these questions in life, what do you do when? And we've seen the little pre-video the last few weeks where it says like, what do you do when you have those big questions? Do you talk to someone older or wiser than yourself? No, of course you don't. You just go to Google and you say, hey Google, what do I do? That's just what we all do, right? So we're looking at some of the questions of those things in life that get us down and stop us maybe in our tracks. And today, what we're talking about is when you don't know what to do, remember that your problems can position you for a purpose. So when you don't know what to do, remember that your problems can position you for a purpose. Okay, so let's start by talking about movies, because I feel like movies do a great job of illustrating this. So in the comments, I want you to put your all-time favorite movie. So just throw them out there. What is your all-time favorite movie ever? The one that you'd watch like over and over again. Just put them in the comments there.
Incredibles, Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks, nice. Did someone say The Incredibles? Solid
Please.
choice.
Step Up. Beauty and the Beast.
Step Up! Oh, Step Up 3.
Endgame.
So good. Endgame, yes. Okay, so Endgame, you're my friend. Because I have a lot of favorite movies because I like movies, but one of my favorites, probably currently, is Guardians of the Galaxy, particularly Volume 2, was just such a good movie. Any Guardians of the Galaxy fans? In the comments, give me like a little raccoon emoji or something if you're with me on that one. Okay, but the thing about Guardians of the Galaxy and lots of movies, there's so often these big movies with big storylines, they have these flashback moments, right? So in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I don't think I'm giving any spoilers, but if you haven't seen it already and you want to, like that's on you. So here we go. The very beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we start the scene on these two random people that we have no idea who they are, And we're expecting like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. We're excited. We love the cast. We love Chris Pratt. We love Rock. We see these two random people. We're like, who is this and why should I care? Right? Like, what is the point of this? And then as we watch, we find out that actually that was a really pivotal flashback for us to see and understand, because that kind of helps the whole movie storyline go through. Like, it's the father in the very end of it, and that's like a huge part of the story. And even when you think about Guardians of the Galaxy in relation to the whole Marvel Infinity Saga, like, it's quite pivotal, and it could seem kind of random on its own. But when you put it all together, it's actually quite an important part of the saga. Like, it took me a while to get on board with the Guardians movies, because I don't really like alien movies or sci-fi, so I wasn't really keen. But I watched the other Avengers films and suddenly realized, like, that's actually, it brings in so many important pieces and context to the whole story. And that's kind of like the story we've been talking about with Joseph in the Bible. This one about Joseph is actually true, and we can read about it in the Old Testament in the book of Genesis. And so when we think about, in hindsight, those aspects of a story that seem random at the time, but they're actually really important to the whole story. Like, you know, if you're ever telling someone a story, like you're telling someone about something, yeah, just like that, Zoe, thank you. Perfect demonstration. And you're telling this story, and then you start realizing midway through the story that, like, oh wait, no, I need to tell you about this part, because that plays into what comes later, and then you start telling that story, and then there's a tangent off of that, and suddenly it's this big wide story, and you're like, whoa, that took a long time. But it seemed random at the time, but you really needed to know all those little bits to get the whole picture. Right? Have you guys do that? Come on, give me a little, like, hands up if you tell stories like that sometimes. Well, I think if Joseph were recounting his life's story, the one we can read in Genesis, if he was telling that, I think his would go quite similarly. He would start saying, like, this was the original idea, and then all these little things kept happening. It might look something like this. So, in hindsight, flashbacks, backstories, and crazy end side stories like that, they seem really random, but then you realize the importance of them. When you're in the middle of it, you might be asking yourself, kind of like Joseph probably did, why? Why am I here? Why is this happening to me? What is the point? So, put up a little hand emoji, or like a finger, like a pointer finger, to say in the comments, to say if you've ever been in a situation, maybe even recently, maybe even right now, where you've been like, why is this happening to me? What is the point? Like, I'm struggling, I don't like this, this is not fun for me, this is really hard, I shouldn't have to do this, why is it happening? And it just doesn't make sense, right? Like, the projection of where your life was headed seemed pretty straightforward, kind of like Joseph's did. Like, he had this dream, was told he was gonna go be king, and that seemed pretty straightforward, but it went all over the place. Have you ever been there? Because life isn't like movies, where it doesn't have, the perfect scene sequence with the perfectly tied together ending that just works together so well and everyone's happy. Life isn't like movies. Joseph's story definitely wasn't like those kind of movies. You see, remember that Joseph is in jail, and that's where we ended last week, is that he was he was sold into slavery by his brothers, and then he was working for this guy named Potiphar, and then he was falsely accused of something he didn't do, and he was thrown in jail. And it really didn't seem like he was anywhere close to being king, even though he knew that's where he was supposed to be. And he was probably sitting in jail asking why. What is the point? So let's read where Joseph was at now while he's in jail. So in Genesis 40, verse 1 to 8, says, sometime later, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt offended their master, who's the king of Egypt, and that's Pharaoh. So Pharaoh was angry with those two officials, the cupbearer and the baker, and he put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, in the same prison where Joseph was confined. The captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph, and he attended them. And they had been in custody for some time. Each of the two men, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were being held in prison, had a dream the same night. And each dream had a meaning of its own. And when Joseph came to them the next morning, he saw that they were dejected. They were not super happy. So he asked Pharaoh's officials, who were in custody with him in his master's house, he said, "Why do you look so sad today?" And they answered, "We both had dreams, but there's no one to interpret them." Then Joseph said to them, Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams." Okay, so this is where he's at. These officials, the officials of the king, they were in jail, they had these dreams. Yeah, okay, I can do that. Tell me your dreams. And I bet in that moment he thought, hey, maybe this is going to turn things around. Maybe this is where it goes. And he was probably pretty excited about that. Like, now we're maybe back on track. Now maybe I can use what God has given me. And he interprets their dreams, and he is actually quite accurate. So Joseph probably thought that this was his breakthrough, finally. But then those two are released from jail. He tells them their dreams come true, and he asks those guys, he says, hey, don't forget about me when you're out of here. Like, remember what I did and tell the king what I did for you. And so he's like, this is it. This is my big break. I'm going to get it. Like, now we're on track. But 2 years go by. 2 years after they're out of prison, and Joseph realizes they forgot about him. They just forgot about him. And I'm sure at that point, Joseph was asking why. What on earth is the point? But as the story continues to unfold, things from before start making sense, and his questions of why begin to be answered, and it really starts to fit into place. But the reason that is because God's timing is not our timing. And we need to just trust that. Because we'll be in a moment just like Joseph was, and we'll be like, why? What is the point of this? But God knows the end. He knows what's going to happen. And here's the cool thing is he'll take those hardships, those tough times, those problems, and he'll turn them into an opportunity. Because your problems can position you for a purpose. Now, it's like I had a season where I was living in England with Jacob, and things weren't going so great. And it really felt like I should have been on a path, and I wasn't on the one I thought I should be, and things weren't working out, and I was pretty bummed about it. And I was asking why a lot. Why am I here? What is the point of this? I thought this was the plan, and it's not going right. And I couldn't see past any of that. I was just asking why. But now, almost 4 years down the road, it's crazy to look back and think that just one of the things of that season in England was that was when I met Nick and Sarah. And if you know Nick and Sarah, they're some of our leaders at Horizon Youth, and they're amazing in Horizon Church, and they're planting a church in South Surrey called Numa Church. And they're here in the same they ended up in the same city as us, and they were back in England, and that's how we met. So even if no other reason, if the purpose for me being in England at that time was to meet Nick and Sarah so that when they came over here to plant a church as God called them to, and we could be there to help and support them, like, that's amazing. What an incredible completion to that story. My problem positioned me for a purpose because I stepped into where I was, and I still lived in that season even though I was asking why. If you watched Horizon Church last Sunday, Pastor Craig talked about now, the season of now, which is no opportunity wasted. And that's what Pastor Craig was talking about, was that you can be in a moment, in a season of questions of why, like, I don't know what to do, I don't know why this is happening, but that can be, even if it's a problem, that can be an opportunity. And you have a choice, and you can make the choice to not waste an opportunity. No opportunity wasted in this season of now. You see, when hard things happen, remember that just because it's happening and because it's hard doesn't mean that God doesn't mean that God did this to you or wanted this for you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that God is in the business of taking our hurt and giving it a purpose and meaning. He's in the business of taking what should be a problem, what should be a roadblock, what should be really hard and stop us in our tracks, and he turns that around and turns it into an opportunity. And we have to make the choice to say, I'm gonna not waste that opportunity, and I'm gonna step into something so that I can be positioned for purpose. Because when you don't know what to do, remember that your problems can position you for a purpose. Now in Romans chapter 8, verse 28, let's look at that one. It says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." That's God's promise to us, that in all things, bad, scary, hard, impossible, he can do the impossible. He'll turn that situation around, but you need to partner with him in that, and you need to make the choice and say, I'm going to see this not as a problem, but as an opportunity, and I'm not going to waste this opportunity because this is a now season. No opportunity wasted. Well, that's all I have for you today. I think we've got one more week of this series, and I'm so excited to keep going on this. And hopefully this has been helpful for you, helping to figure out what you can do when you don't know what to do. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Come on, give a little high five, double hand emoji in there. Next week, Pastor Katie speaking. But I wanted to, before we jump into Zoom groups, just quickly speak to some of the things that have been going around. I'm sure you've seen it on social media with the tragic passing of George Lloyd and everything around there with even the Ahmaud Avery stuff. I'm not going to speak a whole lot to it, but I think it's needed to say something. And I want to start in situations like this where sometimes I know myself, I don't know what to say. And I think in times when I've been not sure what to say, I say nothing. But I think to follow Jesus is to stand up for justice. And in Micah chapter 6, verse 8, it simply says this. Micah is meeting, he's a prophet, and he says, what does the Lord require of me? What does the Lord require of you? And I think that's a great question that we all need to be asking in this moment. Maybe you, like myself, are a white person and you're not sure what to do. Maybe you're a person of color and this affects you a lot differently than it would me, and that makes sense. Maybe you think it's too far away, or what can I do? You're young, you're not sure. But to follow Jesus when there's an injustice anywhere is to ask, what does the Lord require of me? And for anyone who follows Jesus is this: to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. And this is the beginning of, I'm sure, many conversations, but I wanted to lead us with something because I've been watching a lot, and I have multiple Instagram feeds and pastors and churches and influential people all around media around this issue, which is a terrible issue that needs to be addressed, needs to be spoken to. Something needs to change. But I hear a lot of people, and I feel it in my own life sometimes, but what can I do? And I want to give us 3 simple steps. That's the bare minimum, especially if you follow Jesus, the bare minimum that we can begin to do to see a change, to see that every life would matter, that Black lives would matter, that not this wouldn't be something that we continue to see like, oh, well, yeah, I know that happens again. We wouldn't get numb to it, we wouldn't get used to it, that our hearts would break, because I believe it breaks the heart of Jesus. And simply, this is not my own, it's from Pastor Chris Hodge down in the States. He says, number 1, we need to pray and ask God to forgive our sin, that he would heal our land. Only God can change a heart. I'm begging you to spend at least as much time as you do crafting an Instagram post for your Instagram feed to post in your story. You spend at least that amount of time on your knees begging God to heal the brokenness of humanity, to rid our nations of this evil that is racism. If you follow Jesus, it is your responsibility to pray, not just once, but continually till we see evil stop. Number 2 is we need to continue to pray. And what are we praying for? That we would recognize that every person is made in the image of God and has the same inherent value. All life must be respected and protected. That we begin to pray that realization, hopefully if you follow Jesus, that's the conviction that you stand on, that everyone is an image bearer of God. That more people realize that's what we begin to pray and make sure we constantly realize. And lastly, that we would examine our own hearts and ask, do I have any bias towards someone who's different from me? Do I see every person as precious? And I know in this conversation, if you have the privilege, like myself, to maybe walk away from it because you are Caucasian or white and you don't have to deal with it quite the same as some of our brothers and sisters, people of color, to ask yourself the hard question is, where are my prejudices? Whatever skin color you are or you have, to ask yourself, God, would you search my heart and know me? So we're going to pray. We're going to continue to remind ourselves that every life has value. And we're going to ask Holy Spirit to echo the prayer of David, to Holy Spirit, search me and know me. And as God begins to speak, we need to be obedient to what he calls us to do. So, again, there's a loss for words. I know these might not have been exactly the right words, but I think it's time we start saying something, even if they're not in the right way or said the right way, rather than saying nothing out of fear of saying the wrong thing. So we love you. We are praying for you. I want to let you know to talk to someone. If this is affecting you, it affects everyone differently. Talk to someone. And let's begin to ask God to do something different in our time, that he would come and heal our land. We love you guys so much. You can jump into Zoom groups at this time. Again, you should have the link by this time, but if you don't, you can DM the Instagram. Again, next week, Pastor Katie's going to be speaking. It's going to be awesome. And we'd love to see you church on Sunday. We all watch on YouTube. So you can join us on YouTube, Horizon Church, Surrey. Love you guys so much. See you next week.